When you first heard it, 10-year extension for Mahomes, Stephen A., what was your initial reaction?
I was stunned because of the years, not necessarily the money, because you're talking about a $40 million a year player when you take the guarantees into consideration. So I wasn't surprised by the number. I was surprised by the number of years because usually NFL teams don't make that kind of commitment, considering the volatility of the sport, how injuries can ultimately hamper you. That one hit can end your career, for crying out loud. I mean, you usually just don't see that kind of commitment put forth by an NFL team. Having said that, I give major props to Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs as an organization. They see the greatness of Patrick Mahomes, and what I religiously say, and Marcus Spears can testify to this, Greeny, because I say this on First Take all the time. When you get big money as a marquee athlete, it's not just because your greatness as it pertains to your performance. It's because you've proven you're trustworthy, that you're the kind of person that's going to put in the work, that's going to put forth the level of dedication and focus and tenacity necessary to sustain the level of greatness that you've already put on display. That's why when we sit here and we applaud, the greatness of Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, the greatness of Michael Jordan, the greatness of LeBron James and others, what we applaud about them, and not without even realizing it, is that we're thankful that year in, year out, month in, month out, week in, week out, night in, night out, that we are going to see their greatness because we know they've put forth that level of dedication. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are saying that they see in Patrick Mahomes. Not just a great football player, but somebody who's committed to sustaining or elevating that level of greatness, who's willing to put in the work, the focus, and everything that comes with it. And that's why we should applaud the Kansas City Chiefs, and we most certainly should applaud Patrick Mahomes because he deserves it.
Swagoo, we have Dan Orlovsky and Randy Moss so far this morning, both on record, saying they believe the Chiefs are now a dynasty in the making. Do you believe we are looking at the makings of a dynasty in Kansas City?
Absolutely. Gee, I told you at the Super Bowl that a lot of these things were going to come to the forefront, and we've had so many discussions revolving around this type of player. Yesterday, when I saw this deal, I had to pull my glasses down and really look at these numbers and realize that this is an investment. The Kansas City Chiefs, believe it or not, stand to make more money because Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback than he got in this contract, which is not crazy. Obviously, teams and organizations are making investments to do that. But not only that, the question you asked was about winning. And what in the world do you think is going to happen outside of winning with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback and what he's had the ability to do? And the Chiefs were smart about this deal. Look, and to Stephen A's point, you see a 10-year deal and you get perplexed because in football, you know, gee, I deal with the fluff numbers. What are the fluff numbers? What's the real number? What is Patrick Mahomes getting outside of everything that we're looking at based on $500 million, $477, $450? And that's $141 million guaranteed that's going actually go into his bank account. And we know that quarterbacks like this that are generational, barring no injury, he's going to play out the large majority of this contract. So looking at it, yes, this will be a dynasty. Looking at the way they structured it, it will be a dynasty. A bunch of lump sum payments that's not going to hit against your cap in crazy ways in order to continue to build teams. It's phenomenal that Patrick Mahomes got this amount of money. It's phenomenal that the Chiefs made this investment. And look, to that point, gee, I just want to put a message out there because I had this conversation with you about Melvin Gordon when he talked about holding out like Le'Veon Bell. And I had this conversation about when Zeke held out. You have to be a particular guy in order to garner this type of money. This is not a market for every quarterback. Now, that's not to say that Lamar and Deshaun and Dak won't have big paydays and gaudy numbers, and we'll all raise our eyebrows about how much money they got at some point in their career. But this is Patrick Mahomes' market. Patrick Mahomes generated this market. He's the one that's going to sustain this market. And when Patrick Mahomes is playing, more people watch than most other quarterbacks. Lamar may be somewhere in that conversation because of entertainment value, cachet, and you could justify that number. But this is Patrick Mahomes' market. This is not the NFL market, the quarterback market that's been set by Patrick Mahomes. He owns this market by himself because of what he's had the ability to do. I just want to get that point across.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.